Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu analysis video. These videos they come in the morning and the PIB videos they come in the evening. And today is 22nd of February. This month is about to end, so time is running very fast and you all need to fasten your belt. The UPSC notification is out and I have been telling you about it for the last 3 days, and you see that time is very crucial. We need to go fast here, and we would again start with a motivational quote. A winner is just a loser who tried one more time. Every time this happens, you see, every successful person, every achiever, that person had started somewhere, and at that time he was nothing, and when he achieved something between those 2 points, he remained a loser. And many times, you take the example of sportsmen, you take the example of scientists, you take the example of any person, maybe these UPSC aspirants mainly, they remain loser till the time the results are announced. And many times 3-4 years students are preparing for this examination, and again they need to repeat their subjects, and again boring things they are reading, and they find it very difficult to remain raw in the process. But to remain raw is the most important thing in life, so that you can have a new start every time. That's the most important ability for a person to be an achiever. So here, never be concerned about losing, always be concerned about winning. Okay, because every winner was a loser once. Remember this always, and be raw. That is the main idea behind every success, and you will never feel stressed or depressed if you remain raw in all your process. Every day you should start with a new energy, and anyhow you make it possible. Although these are talks and always easier said than done, but you need to find your own way. Every person has its own way. These are the numbers where there you can call and ask for these pen drive courses by StudyIQ. All courses are completed here, and extremely important, created by experts and selected people. And now we are going to talk about the editorials today. Not many articles are there. This article we are not going to discuss. This is on the political lines, and it is talking about the parties and the political shift after the independence phase. This we are going to discuss. It is giving a certain angle of Iran and India's relationship and changing aspect in the international relationships with respect to Middle East. So that's important for GS paper 2. And this article we are going to discuss, although I have explained to you regarding the angel tax and the norms where the government is about to relax these norms, but some issues remain here in this article, so we are going to discuss that, and this is going to be important for GS paper 3. And this we are not going to discuss because it is talking only about an allegation on the government's side that when in a press release, the minister Prakash Javadekar, he said there is no major attack on Kashmiri students, although we have been witnessing a lot of incidents, and these students, they are spelling their own stories, and these incidents are all over India. So many evidences are there, but still the ministry denied these allegations, and they said that they are all safe and there has been no major escalation or any kind of attack on the Kashmiri students. So this is about that, and the writer says it's an apathy and it should not be the response. That's a wrong response for that situation. And in this article, you see, we had discussed all the points, but if you want a compilation at one place where pro, negative and the neutral point regarding the further options in this Pulwama incident, whether we should go for a war or not, that is discussed here. So it's a good thing, but we will not discuss that. And all apart, these two are important articles that we are going to discuss. Others are not important. Next, picking sides in West Asia. West Asia, or as they call it, Middle East. For us, this is West Asia. For the Americans, this is Middle East. So you see, there are complex situations. Iran is a Shia country. Saudi Arabia, UAE, all these countries are Sunni ideology countries. So it's a major issue there, and that is why any country who is having a relationship with both these groups or both these countries, they have to balance the situation. And the same way India has been doing it, and for decades now we have been doing it, that we are going on a balanced approach. We are going with this balance where The Shia country like Iran is not with us, and Saudi Arabia remains friendly with us, because we as a country are having a major Muslim population, and there are Sunnis and there are Shias, both we are having. So that's a good opportunity for us to balance the situation. But now the major shift we have been witnessing here after the US sanctions. Iran is in deep trouble, and many countries are finding it difficult to deal with Iran the way we have got a waiver in the month of November for 6 months for these oil dealing and all. But after that, what is going to happen? That's a big question that remains. And you see, when it was a grand welcome for the Saudi prince, and when they are investing in Ratnagiri petrochemical complex, and Abu Dhabi companies also being there. So these are great opportunities and great activities from the Saudi Arabian side in the Indian relations, and these things are going to be fruitful for both the countries. That's important, because Saudi Arabia is targeting the post oil age. Okay, because they don't see much opportunity now with the oil. The prices are consistently low, and the shale gas boom and more dependence on the renewable energy and all. So these things are putting pressure on the economy of Saudi Arabia and many oil exporting countries. So they are now investing whatever they have earned in these decades. They are investing that heavily into other sectors. So they are visiting India, they are going to visit Pakistan, they are going to visit China, Indonesia, all these east countries. So it's a kind of a major change that is going on. And if we go by the ideology and the political game of these countries, Iran is supporting conservative political Islamist ideological factions. Okay, conservative political Islamic and these conservative sections. But Saudi Arabia is going away from that. They are supporting actually the progressive measures, the way they have given driving rights to women and all. And since when MBS came, Mohammed bin Salman in Saudi Arabia, and this person of Prince of UAE, okay, they both are going on these reform paths, and they are actually allowing more liberalization in their economies, and that's totally opposite to the Iran's way. Because in Iran we saw the way we were discussing the 40 years celebration commemoration of the Iranian revolution, and the way things are turning like more conservative from the clerics side, but the youth, they are much more liberal. So it's a condition on Iran also that it changes. But due to the conservative stance and the nuclear stockpile issue, Iran is under immense stress, and in a way Iran is isolated in the region. We have been maintaining friendly relations, and the Chabhar port issue was always there for the last 2-3 years. But you see, the following on that issue and maintaining great relations, same pitch in the future, it is going to be difficult for India also, because of these sanctions. And not only because of these sanctions, the way a shift is there in our policy, the way we are moving more closer with the country of Israel, that is a staunch enemy of Iran, and the country of USA, and these countries Saudi Arabia and UAE now we are embracing a lot. But certainly this group would be considered as enemy group by Iran, and it is going to be a difficult task for us to balance between Iran and Saudi Arabia especially. And we saw an article yesterday regarding some caution that we should maintain, that we should not rely or over believe on the proposals of Saudi Arabia, because they are more in favor of Pakistan and they are more in favor of Saudi Arabia only, and less in favor of India. Although we are having important trade relations, we are importing oil from there, and export is also huge. But you see, still Iran is a major gateway to Central Asia. Okay, and the Chabhar port issue is also very important to us for the entry into Afghanistan, and we can easily skip Pakistan if we go by the Chabahar way into Central Asia or in the Europe. Okay, so in both these areas Iran becomes very, very important, and Iran still is a dominant country in the region. It is a nuclear power, and no other country in the region today can challenge Iran in this way. Even Saudi Arabia, that cannot challenge militarily to the country Iran. Although the US support is there, but Saudi Arabia is also going under immense stress due to this Yemen crisis and the Jamal Khashoggi issue. So these all are complex issues, and we have been discussing these all issues here. But it is about the India's stance, that how do we manage into this complex situation. And there has been a balance, but now we are moving away from the balance and we are moving more towards this particular group. And there are regions, you see, for strategic and defense wise, if we go, then Israel is much more important country for us. Okay, you see, Israel is here, and Lebanon is here, and Syria is here, and Iran is actually supporting the groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, and some groups in Iran which are opposing Israel and USA. These are rebel groups, and Iran is supporting them. So that's why US and Israel, they both are gonna oppose this issue, and that's why some escalations we have seen in Syria between Israel and Iran. Okay, some airstrikes were done by the country Israel. So Israel is a staunch enemy. It has been always the staunch enemy. Iran does not recognize Israel as a country. It says that there is no country named Israel. Palestine is a country there. So that's the stand. So that is why these are both very staunch enemies. And here Israel is very helpful for us. The Barak 8 missile and the AWACS system and other Hormuz and all these things we have taken from Israel, and it's very advanced a country. Mossad is the intelligence agency, and that's very effective, and that has got a great reputation in the intelligence field, and that has helped us in Kargil war also, and in the future also they may help a lot from the intelligence scenario. So that is the situation that is bringing the country of India and Israel together. And due to the right-wing politics in both these countries, they are embracing each other a lot for the last 3-4 years. This is happening, and a lot of talks are there for Israel in social media in India and all. Everywhere you see that we should follow Israel's footsteps, and Israel is a bold country and we should be like that. So that is the thing, and our inclination towards USA is also very much evident. This thing has been discussed, that there is a triangle between USA, Russia and India, and we are moving more towards USA. And here USA, Saudi Arabia and these Israel country, they are on a same page against Iran. So this is how we are actually ignoring Iran in some way, because due to the sanctions we are not able to push the agenda of Chabahar port further. And you see, here's Gwadar port, here is Chabahar port. So there is an apathy from India's side, but you see Iran is actively supporting the Chabahar port agenda, and they are trying to invest here and trying to build a new port here near Chabahar, because this Bandar Abbas, this is the main port of Iran, that is under economic stress due to the sanctions from America. So that is the problem, and that is why they are finding a new hope here near the Chabahar port, and they are trying to woo India that move ahead with this. But due to the US sanction, it is difficult for us. So that is the trouble that is going on. But the writer says this is not totally right, because Iran is a gateway to Central Asia, and the issue of North-South trade corridor, that is actually coming from this particular side, and all these important cities of Iran, they are going to be connected with this, and ultimately Mumbai city would be connected with the North-South trade corridor. We are going to discuss about that. Before that, you see MBS of the Prince of Saudi Arabia and Mr. Mohammed bin Zayed of Abu Dhabi, they have escalated their battle against political Islamist groups. As I told you, Iran is supporting these fundamentalist groups and political Islamist groups, but Saudi Arabia and this UAE, they are going against it. They opposed Muslim Brotherhood's takeover of Egypt, and they supported when Fateh al-Sisi again took over the power of Egypt in his hand from the Muslim Brotherhood. So they are not actually embracing the Muslim Brotherhood, and Muslim Brotherhood is a conservative group for Muslim countries, and Qatar is a major supporter of Muslim Brotherhood. So they have some issues with Qatar also. So anyway, Saudi Arabia is on a progressive path. They are not supporting these Islamist political groups, and they are going against Iran in this way also. And you see, this thing brings them closer to India. How? Because you see, when these international terror groups or these militant groups, when they are supported, then certainly the groups like Taliban and ultimately the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the Lashkar-e-Toiba, they all are going to be strengthened and they are going to create troubles in Kashmir. And that's the issue with India. But you see, if we talk about the country Iran can play a major role here in controlling Taliban, and that we also discussed 2 days back. But till now it is not possible. Although the incident happened where the forces of India and Iran both were attacked recently. India's CRPF and their revolutionary guards of Iran. 27 were dead, here 44 were dead. So they both, this particular incident that brings both these countries closer, but certainly it is not gonna create a major bilateral impact. That is the writer saying, due to these economic sanctions, we are not able to move ahead with Iran. And it is difficult for us, but it's very easy for us to go in that particular group where US, Saudi Arabia and the UAE country and the Israel is there. And we are moving ahead with that, and we are taking strategic benefits there. We have many deals signed with the USA, and as I told you, with Iran also, a lot of systems we are developing. So it's a positive relationship for us. And you see, in a strange development, these countries, Saudi Arabia and UAE, they are coming closer to Israel actually. And that was never a scene. You see, Israel is fighting with the Arabian Muslims in the Palestine region. But still, Saudi Arabia is coming closer to Israel because there is an economic reason. And these are the strongest reasons always in the international scenario. Where they are looking at the post-oil age, then Israel can help here. Israel has a lot of defense advancement and a lot of technological advancement. And certainly, Saudi Arabia would need that. And there is no benefit in remaining a enemy of Israel anymore. And you see, US support is certainly gonna there, and US and Israel, they are a major combined group. So Saudi Arabia would want to cultivate that particular power. So that is going on, and ultimately Iran is isolated, but Iran is important to us. You see, regarding Israel, as I told you, all these important details that I had discussed regarding the Harop, AWACS and the BrahMos missile. You see, sorry, not BrahMos, Barak 8 missile. The Barak 8 is a surface to air missile. That's important for prelims. Okay, so all these things, they are making India-Israel relations very strong. And their investment, $44 billion investment of Saudi Arabia and UAE in India, in Ratnagiri, Maharashtra, that is a major step, and we are also cultivating that particular advantage. And we cannot ignore that, and we cannot ignore Israel. So it is more in that particular group against Iran. So that is why this shift is happening for India. But this balance is anyhow weak. You see, after even after US sanctions, the North-South Transit Corridor, INSTC, it's important. You see, traditionally reaching up to Russia, this is the traditional path, the blue one, but the red one is the INSTC, North-South Transport Corridor. Important cities like Moscow and here it is Mumbai. They are connected through Iran's city of this Chabhar port, Bandar Abbas and Tehran and all these cities. Here it is Baku, capital of Azerbaijan. And you see, this thing is very important for us to get the entry into Eurasian land and bypassing Afghanistan and Pakistan. We don't need to go there. So that's very, very important. And Chabhar port is the main idea here. And extension from Bandar Abbas to Chabhar port is also done for this particular INSTC. And the work is started. And India signed an agreement in 2018 as Ashgabat Agreement. Ashgabat is the capital of Turkmenistan. So we have signed that, and all these cities are going to be connected here. So it's a it's a multi-mode network of ship, rail and road route for moving freight between India, Iran, Afghanistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Russia, Central Asia and Europe. So all these countries are going to be affected here positively. And I'm giving you a map question here. Find out all the cities in this NSTC, all the cities which are going to be connected. That's important question. And find out about the TAPI project also, the Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India project. Here Pakistan and Afghanistan are there, but in this NSTC the Pakistan is totally bypassed. That is not needed here. So that is why it is important for us. And if you want to get the entry in Afghanistan through the Jabar route, then also INSTC becomes very important here. Okay, so cities like Astrakhan, Bandar Anzali, Baku, Tehran, all these cities I have explained to you, and locate their locations on the atlas. That's important. And all these developments, what they are saying that the situation is very complex, and when something is going totally against USA, Israel and all, then certainly for that particular country like Iran, Russia is going to be important factor, because Russia is at any cost gonna counter USA. So here in this INSTC, Russia is also involved. Russia and Iran, two big countries. So we need to see about that particular issue also, and the gateway to Central Asia, as Iran is, that's also important for us. So we cannot actually make a particular image for ourselves that we are belonging to this particular group and we are moving away from this group. We cannot afford that in this multipolar world, because things change always. Now you see the things are changing. Saudi Arabia is coming closer to Israel country, and that's bizarre and strange, but these are happening, and these things will keep happening in the future. So we need to go with a balanced approach. That is the main message of this article. Okay, now the next article, half measures. Why they are saying them half measures? Because it is talking about the angel tax. As I explained to you, these startups, they need capital investment, and it is very difficult for them in the starting, because there is no guarantee that they are going to be successful. So very less capital is given to them, and they are supported with the capital investment. So they need investor, and these angel investor, they may be their friends, their families, or any other particular funding group who actually support and believe in the idea of this particular startup, and they are going to give money as angel investment to these startups. And you see, through this angel investment, a lot of black money was routed, and a lot of black money was again coming through this route in India, and that was the main problem. The way we had problem with the participatory notes, a lot of black money was being routed through the participatory notes method. So due to this particular region, in 2012 this proposal came that we should put a angel tax on this angel investment, okay, just to curb this black money, and the reason was very genuine, and this was done. Now you see, when it was a proposal of last government, and this particular government, the present government, they brought up this Startup India scheme, okay, SUI, Startup India scheme, and they are promoting startups heavily, but most of these startups, they are not able to be successful. And now government is taking steps to revive this particular scheme and to make this a robust one, because it was a major employment giver, and it was a promise from the government that these startups are going to make people employment giver, and there would be no problem of employment if this scheme becomes successful. But anyhow, this scheme is a kind of a failure, and that's why government is trying a lot. So if they are going to boost the startup sector, then certainly this angel tax is a problem here. So these startups are demanding that do away with this angel tax. We don't need that, and this is actually hindering our process. But government says that it is not possible for us to cancel this, but we can relax this. So they have relaxed the angel tax norms, but still some issues they remain, although they are actually applying it retrospectively. So it is going to give a big relief to many startups who have already got the tax authorities notices. So those all would be cancelled, and they would have some relax, but certainly some issues are there, because the black money issue remains. And to curb that, it is necessary for these startups to register themselves with the government, and they should not be involved in some kind of buying of land that is unrelated to the business, and the vehicles worth over 10 lakh rupees or the jewelry, they should not invest in that. Otherwise they would not be exempted from this particular tax relief. Okay, so that's important. If they want to avail this tax benefit, angel tax benefit, then certainly they need to follow some norms. and where they are going to follow these norms, then the same problem would come again, the administrative bureaucratic delays. They were the problem before, and now they are again going to be problem, because the registering things and making assessment of their investment, making assessment of their market values, these things are certainly gonna involve a lot of discretion from the tax authorities, and this tax authorities discretion is always a trouble. All business people, entrepreneurs, they complain about this issue, and these startups, they have been raising this issue that this is going to be a problem for us. But it's a dilemma for the government that which way they should go. They need to support the startups, and they need to control the black money also, because that's for sure that a lot of black money is invested into these startups, that's for sure. So tax authorities with ulterior motives will still possess enough leeway to harass startups with unreasonable tax demands. So these things government should manage, and conditions should be put according to the demand, and they need to assess the categories of startups also, because all startups, they are not supported by black money, and as I told you, not all, but some are started with the black money. That is the main issue. So it's a great dilemma, and all need to go in a cooperation, and the laws regarding black money should be strict, but some support should be there for the startups. So that's a dilemma. Next, we talk about the informations. ILP, Inner Line Permit. You see, according to the Bengal Frontier Regulation Act of 1853, Northeast states, if you want to visit there, if any foreigner or any domestic person, they want to visit there, then they need a temporary inner line permit, and this permit allows them to visit those places, and it is for the safeguard of the indigenous communities, their culture and their particular area, and it is for the especially for the communities only, indigenous communities. Now see, the problem is rising because of this Citizen Amendment Act, the Citizenship Amendment Act, and because of that, all these talks are again on boil. And this inner line permit that created a lot of ruckus in 2015 in the state of Manipur, and you see, it is given to the states like Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland and all. So inner line permit was not available for the Dimapur city of Nagaland, Dimapur city, but now this is going to be put there, and if you want to visit Dimapur, then you will need inner line permit, so it will be applicable to entire state. This information was given by the governor, and you see, big articles are going to come on this issue, because it's not a simple issue, and this citizenship amendment bill has become the most controversial topic in the recent times. And now when they are promoting these inner line permits, then certainly these are steps taken to save these indigenous communities who are actually heavily protesting regarding the Citizenship Amendment Act. Okay. Next, Odisha says it will be a part of PM Kisan scheme. You see, Kalia scheme is going on there, and that's a very famous scheme there, and it is much talked on the national scene also. So now, because some poor groups, and especially these small and marginal farmers, they are actually understanding the benefit of this PM Kisan scheme, and they are protesting to the state that we want that particular income support, the 6,000 rupees in the 3 installment, and we are poor farmers and we need those 6,000 rupees. So for that they are protesting, and it is the election time, so political parties are under stress. So the Biju Janata Dal is also under stress, and they are allowing now the PM scheme to be rolled out in the state. Okay, so that's the thing. And now Kalia scheme is going on there as a livelihood and income augmentation scheme, and this PM Kisan is also gonna be important for these small and marginal farmers. And you remember, it is only for the small and marginal farmers, not for the landless people. Okay, so PM Kisan is not for the landless laborers and agriculturalists, and the Kalia scheme certainly supports those landless farmers also. Next, lakhs of forest dwellers face eviction. You see, Supreme Court is now going with very strict measures regarding these scheduled tribes and the forest dwellers who are living in the forest areas, because in the Forest Rights Act, and especially the recognition of forest rights of the traditional forest dwellers, this act was of 2006, and there they talked about the claims of these forest dwellers and OTFDs, other traditional forest dwellers, and these STs. So on the forest produce, they have some claim, and they have some claim on their on that particular land also. But due to some population pressures, they are involved in some encroachment also. So for this encroachment, the court is now saying that evict them from there, who are not having legitimate claims on the lands of forest and which are protected lands. We should send them out of those places. And that has created a different kind of a problem, because you see, misuses are always there for these Adivasi sections, and authorities, they actually pressurize these people to throw out from their original places, because it is very difficult to locate their original place, and they would say that we have been living here, and their claims, how they are going to settle their claims. So there are going to be many problems. You see, the whole issue of Naxalwad and all, that is actually related with the actual claims of these forest dwellers only, and they want no disturbance there. But authorities, actually, they are making rules for these places, and especially these forest right acts. These are important, and now many forest dwellers, they face eviction, and that is why in the within the civil society and in many NGOs, there has been a lot of protests regarding the Supreme Court's stance, that even Supreme Court is now taking tough stand against these Adivasis. So that's a trouble. It's going to be a important issue, and many articles are going to come for this. Next, the banks are saying we will try to pass on the rate cut. The RBI has come up to 6.25%, but you see, always the issue remains in this monetary policy decision of the RBI. What is the problem? RBI changes interest rates, and most of the times they lower the rates, but this benefit is not extended to the consumers, because the banks which are there in between, they do not change their rates, and they keep the interest rates high, because the interest rate is the only way that they can earn. That is the whole earning of these banks, and if they are not going to earn, then certainly they will go to docks. And the way the NPA situation is there, and because of this NPA situation, this thing is happening more intensively, that they are not changing the rates, because whoever has taken loans from these banks, and the people who are depositing money and all, so they are keeping the interest rate high, so that the people who are depositing, they are appreciated, and the people who have taken loans, they give more interest. So it is in the favor of the commercial banks that they keep their interest rate high. But it is not okay for the economy and for the RBI decisions, because RBI decides about the whole Indian economy, and it decides that more money should be infused in the market, so that more money is invested into companies and the industries, so that more growth can be started and more growth can be supported. But when commercial banks, they find it very difficult to pass on this benefit and pass on this lower interest rate method, it's difficult for them, then it's a problem. And that is why the MCLR system came, the marginal cost of fund-based lending rate system, MCLR system. What happens here? You see, when interest rates are high, then banks are benefited, but if interest rates are high, then the consumers, they are having a difficulty. If bank rates are less, okay, then banks are finding it difficult, but consumers are finding it easy. So in both these cases, there should be a balance. The balance should be achieved. So this MCLR system, that talks about individual loans and their assessment based on the marginal cost, and according to that, they decide individual rates for the commercial loans especially. And this way, neither the bank nor the consumers are at disadvantage. Okay, so this MCLR system was brought in 2016, and that was talked much, and it was discussed a lot in the articles. So now we are going to see this, and now banks are saying that we will try to pass on this benefit and pass on the rate cut to the consumers. Okay, so this is the issue, and this issue is ever going because banks are under immense stress. And today also the news came that many banks are going to be given money by the government. So this issue is going on, and they are demanding that these particular norms like SLR and NCERT, they should be removed. These conditions should be removed because they are actually hindering the potential of these banks, because they can earn more, because they can give more loans, but that money is stuck into this CRR norms. So they are actually demanding that it should go. Okay, so these are the issues. Now the MCQs, try their answers in the comment section, and these are important. As I told you, more questions I'm going to give you in Friday, Saturday and Sunday lectures. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. The PDF you will get on the Facebook group of mine, Amit Sani Group for IAS Preparation. Send me a request, I would approve, and you will find that on Telegram channel of StudyIQ also. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was a